Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind, and another. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew. And grew. And grew until the ceiling hung with vines, and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day. And in and out of weeks and almost a year to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with a magic trick. Staring into the yellow eyes without blinking once, they were all frightened and called him the most wild one. It made him the king of all wild things. And now, cried Max, let the wild rumpus start. Looks like my girlfriend and I jumping into the moon. Now stop, Max said, and all the wild things were sent off to bed without their supper, and Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. And all around and far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat, so he gave up of being a king of where the wild things are. But the wild thing cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said, "No." The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. And sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day. And into a night of his very own room where he found his supper waiting for him. And it was still hot. Okay, that is the end of our second book. As always, you guys know me. Please go subscribe to the Trying Times YouTube channel. I promise we're funny. It's fun, I promise. We do sketch comedy. Anyways, we have our last book, Goodnight Moon, by my great aunt, Miss Margaret Weisbrell. Let's get right into it. In the great green room, there was a telephone, and a red balloon, and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. And there were 3 little bears sitting in chairs, and 2 little kittens, and a pair of mittens, and a little toy house, and a young mouse, and a comb and a brush, and a bowl full of mush, and a quiet old lady who was whispering, hush. Good night, room. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, kittens, or good night, light, and the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. Of course, the Jojo Eaton page. Good night, kittens, and a pair of mittens. Good night, clocks, and good night, socks. Good night, little house. Good night, little mouse. It's happening. I promise it's gonna happen. I promise. Good night, comb, and good night, brush. Good night, nobody. Good night, mush. And good night to the quiet old lady who was whispering, hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. Okay, that is our last book. Thank you to everyone who came. Thank you to everyone who donated. As you know, the donations are going to the new laptop fund. Because my laptop is destroyed. So my Venmo's in my bio. If anyone would like to help donate to the new computer fund, my Venmo. But thank you. Subscribe to my YouTube, The Trying Times. Follow my Instagram, kwhale.haynes. And follow me on here, of course, and like and share my videos. That's a great way to support me. Share my videos with your friends, but